culture when you took over 7 years ago? Looking back, what point in time can you look at or look to and say that's when it happened, when things really started to change here?
2010. That's when I knew. And the reason I knew is because of how our team responded that year. You know, the first year we come out and win the division and play in the championship game, and you know, boy, this is just going to be great. We're going to do this every year right out of the gate, and win the bowl game and all that type of stuff. But 2010, you know, we were so good on defense that year, and just, you know, we were kind of transitioning. We lost Spiller, lost Ford, lost Palmer. We were, you know, transitioning at quarterback there, KP, and we just didn't have some of the playmakers. You know, we had them coming, had most of those guys committed coming in here for that 2011 group, which really kind of got us back going. But how our guys competed that year, what I saw in the locker room, what I saw in this room, what I saw on the practice field. And in fact, I made that statement that year. You know, I saw a team that never quit. I saw a team that never splintered, a team that never pointed fingers. And we had 5 losses by 6 points or less that year. I mean, it was brutal, brutal. I mean, we lost in overtime to Auburn. We lost on a 80-yard kick by Florida State down there in a game that we dominated. I mean, it was just brutal, the losses that we had. But yet, they just, I could see the seeds kind of taking root as far as, you know, because, you know, you gotta fail too. I mean, you have to fail to grow. And I mean, that's just the reality of life. I mean, if everything's just great all the time, you ain't going to grow. You're going to get complacent and content and fat and happy. You got to fail, and you can't be afraid of that. And we had some failure that year. But the foundation was taking root, you know, year 2 of what we were, year 2.5 of what we were trying to do with the culture of this program. And that's when I knew. I said, you know what? We even though we didn't have a great year this year, we got a chance to be special. I told Terry Don that after the season. I said, man, I'm telling you, we are heading in the right direction right here. And you know, I gotta get some guys in here. We kind of a little transition, and then that year kind of gave me the opportunity to kind of go in the direction that I really wanted to go in from a program standpoint. You know, obviously it was you know, a different scenario that I got the job, and you know, as an interim, and I wasn't going to let all those people go. Just wasn't going to do it. And you know, everybody's contract was up March 1, and you know, Coach, you know, I was definitely going to make a change on D coordinator. But Vic had a 2-year contract. Everybody else was done in March 1, and so, you know, I did what I thought was right, and kept everybody and tried to make it all work. And got everybody 2-year contracts, and you know, see how it goes here for a year. Well, we win the division and we go to the championship, and you know, so it was kind of that time. Okay, well, it's a good time to kind of transition the staff a little bit as well. And you know, it wasn't a negative thing. It was an amicable thing. I mean, everybody I think was better and in better situation than where we started, and so allowed me to kind of, like I said, just continue to grow as a head coach and what I wanted to do, and you know, we've just kind of been building one year at a time, one game at a time, one success at a time, one adversity at a time, and you know, we built a good program, and I'm really proud of what we've done over 7 years. We haven't been perfect. We still got some things we got to get done, but I think that we have become a model of consistency in college football, and that was really my goal. Not just on the field. I mean, you know, 5 of our 6 years we've been top 10 academically. You know, that we have discipline in our program, consistent. You know, we're not a perfect program. We got young people too that make mistakes, but just, you know, the consequences, the discipline, the growth, the NFL development, that's always important. But you know, probably the biggest thing is 120 seniors and 114 graduates. over that time frame. Because that's our number one goal in our program, is to graduate our players, period. And so, we've stuck. We laid the vision out in '09, and we've lived by that. And every decision that we make has been based on how we fulfill the vision of the program, and we've not varied from that at all. We've not tried to take shortcuts. We've tried to recruit the right kind of guys, and from time to time you make a mistake, but and then surround yourself with the right kind of people. But you got to give a lot of credit to the administration too, because it wasn't easy in the beginning. A lot of hurdles, a lot of struggles, and would not want to do it again. But finally, they kind of bought in and have allowed me to be me, first of all, and allowed me to build an infrastructure that I really felt like we needed from day one to get the program to another level. So you got to give them a lot of credit too for buying into what some people thought was a little outside the box early on.
Dabo, you mentioned when you took over the job, there were so many questions about you. You'd never been a coordinator, you'd never been a head coach, and now 7 years later, undefeated, top 5 team, but you still have to answer questions that you don't feel like you have to answer. Do you think that you get the respect for what you've done now 7 years later?
I'm really not worried about me. All I care about is my team. I got this job. I was 38 years old. So, I was in line to be the coordinator at Alabama at 30, and we get fired, and 8 months later, we're all fired. And I'm out of coaching for 2 years, and I come to Clemson, and I'm starting over at 33. And only reason I was going to leave here, only reason I stayed at Clemson is because I knew that I was in line to be the coordinator here. But I could have left here. I could, and that's what I tell people all the time. So many people, they chase titles. They take bad jobs so they can have this title or whatever, and it's really not about that. It's about being great where you are. It's about blooming where you're playing, and just do a great job where you are. And I was never that guy. I'd probably still be at Alabama. I just was never that guy looking for the next job, ever. I just loved my job and loved doing what I was doing and tried to be the best that I could possibly be. And then the rest of that stuff just kind of happens. And when I came to Clemson, my mentality was the same thing. I had opportunities to leave Clemson. It's not one of those things I go out and put in the papers so people can talk about it. But I'm a loyal guy. I had great respect for Tommy Bowden and the opportunity that he gave me to come and coach here, and then the professional growth that he gave me here. I had a chance to go join Coach Saban's staff as a passing game coordinator in 2007 when he got the job, and I didn't go. And the reason I didn't go is because of the conversations I'd had with Tommy Bowden, a year before, 6 months before. And I knew where I was on this staff. And so, I felt like staying at Clemson was the best thing for me. And then, it just right place at the right time. And again, if I was so concerned about a title and chasing a title, I wouldn't have been here and had the opportunity that I had. And that's always a lesson that I try to tell people, especially young coaches. Don't get so caught up. The grass ain't always greener. You might have a title, but you might stink. You better make sure you're at a good place with good people and just do a great job, and the rest of that stuff will come. But for me, all of a sudden I'm 38 years old and I get a chance to be a head coach. So my path has been a little different. Urban Meyer was never a coordinator. He was the receiver coach. I tried to get his job. He was just the receiver coach his whole career. He'd never been a coordinator, but he got the Bowling Green job. And the year that we got fired at Alabama, and I tried to get his job. Couldn't get Coach Davies to call me back or Coach Stallings back, and I couldn't get his job. And I'm glad I didn't, because they got fired the next year, and I'd have been stuck in Indiana. God has a plan, and He works those things out. So I have never been driven by what other people may think about me. I'm just not driven that way. But I am driven by what people think about our program and what people think about our team and the type of young men that we have in our program. That I'm driven by that. I'm passionate about the brand that we have at Clemson. I'm passionate about being the best. I'm passionate about winning, the national championship at Clemson. And we've been working toward that, and hopefully one of these days that'll happen. And if we stay the path, it will.